Hello traders everywhere, Adam Hewson here, and we're looking at the Dow. This has been a very interesting week for a lot of reasons. One of the big concerns I have is if we may have set a bull trap. And what I mean by that is when a market moves, this is a weekly chart by the way of the Dow, but when a market moves over resistance, as we did right here, you can see right this level here, we actually popped above all this resistance, and then you have this pullback that we're seeing for the week. We're actually closing lower, not only for this week, but also for this week. So this will be if we close down here, the market's still trading around noontime on the East Coast, but if the market closes down here, this will be the lowest close in 2 weeks in the Dow, which is very surprising given we've been in new high territory. And that is a little bit of the concern that I have. Also, you're seeing that you didn't get up to new highs. You sort of just it seems like it's losing momentum. Something just doesn't seem right with this market. Now, having said that, both our weekly and monthly are positive. We've been positive for quite some time on this market, but it really doesn't seem to have a lot of legs, and that's the important thing to look at. So if we close next week, this coming week I should say, if we close, let's say, just lower, period, this confirms that this is a top, and then we'll probably see this market pull back or retreat from current levels. Let's take another look at another market. This is the S&P 500, and you can see again, you just poked over the highs that were right here. If we just draw a straight line, you can see it just barely went over there by a tick a few, and then it's come right back down. Now this again, this is going to be the lowest close if we close here in over 3 weeks. So here, week 1, week 2, and week 3. So this is not looking so bad, but it's not looking good either. That's the important thing to remember. So the trend, clearly, they try to push it up. The bulls, I think, failed somewhat. If we close lower today, I think this, or we close lower for the week, I should say, then I think we'll see this market under pressure perhaps next week. Looking at the Nasdaq, this is a completely different picture altogether. You can see that we have a minus 100. All of our trade triangles are down. We're lower for the week. This is going to be the lowest close you've had in the week for the week in about 5 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Not a good sign. You're also just dipping potentially below the 50 line on the RSI, which would be another negative signal. So again, you've got the dichotomy of the S&P 500 and the Dow sort of trying to make new highs, and the Nasdaq, which has just really been a train wreck here for a while. So let's move on to our next market. This is a weekly chart of the Eurodollar. These are all weekly charts that we're looking at. You can see it's minus 60. It's a trading range primarily, and here's the key thing to look. So what we're looking at is a level of support that comes in right around these levels here, right around the 3650 level, 136.50. And providing that level holds, I think we could chop around, but we seem to be in a very, very broad trading box. If you just if we can just do this like here, it just seems like that's the trading box we're in, between 136.50 and 139.50 on the euro versus the dollar. So that's how we see it. Looking at crude oil, this is an interesting chart in my opinion, and I'll tell you why, is that you see we're actually over 101, 102 right now, trading in the June contract, and it really does look like it wants to go higher. I think that's the key thing to remember here. If we go on to a daily chart, again, it really wants to see, it seems like it wants to go higher. We're above the 50 line, and again, this is a situation where you look at the weeklies, and this is why weeklies are so important. This level here, this last week was a very important line, and that's what we call a doji line right here. You see when the market, basically what happens, the market opens and closes at the same line. It's a doji cross. And the higher close today confirms that this is indeed a bottom in this market, and all we're waiting for now is just for our weekly here to turn green, and then I think we're off to the races. Hard to believe it, over $100 we're off to the races, but that would say the trend is your friend, and we'd certainly go up and challenge, I think, the 104 level again, and perhaps even higher to maybe the 108 level. Something to watch very carefully. Now this is gold. We just did a special report on gold yesterday, and you're welcome to look. That's a 4-minute report, but you can see here what's happening in gold. You have this sort of sideways action, really just kind of locked in between these points here, and it really doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. It's higher for the week, which is obviously a good sign. We're currently trading up about 0.5% for the week. Not a big deal, but certainly I think we can get a couple of closes over 1,300. and see this market pushing up on the upside. Again, I think this is if you look at this, you see a special report, you can see that we have had a 61% retracement. You can see if I put that in there as a 61.8%. Oh, it's a perfect retracement. So we see this more of a situation where we've had the move up, nice move up, you've had the pullback, and now we should again start to go up for maybe inflation is going to come back, interest rates go high, stocks go out of favor. Who knows what the reason is going to be? Maybe it's Ukraine, Russia, who knows? But the reality is technically it looks as though this market is building a base in order to go higher. Okay, so that's it for the week. Some interesting markets. Certainly the Dow and the S&P 500 have proved to be very, very elusive on the upside. And I think that's something to watch next week for a lower close there. I'm Adam Hewison for Market Club. Everyone, have a great weekend. We'll be back next week with some new ideas.
You can find Adam Hewison as a regular contributor on Bloomberg, Business News Network, CNBC, and Fox Business News.